Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, AncestryLands.com. Got a cold today, but here I am in the Acme in the morning in my nursing uniform to pick the union here. I'm going to show you in a second. Yeah. So the lady, she done went off $620 today, so we'll see if she gives me any problems. All right, Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, AncestryLands.com. So y'all may not know, but this is a follow-up to my video before about the Western Union problem I had collecting money. Just a small recap. I collect money, land payments, and my land payments come from multiple Zelle, Cash App, Venmo. Sometimes people do Western Union, used to do Walmart to Walmart, and occasionally I have to come to my local Acme and come and pick up money. The lady gave me a problem saying it was a scam, this, and this for some $200 and measly dollars. The manager got involved. They figured out it wasn't a scam, but the lady gave me so much attitude, she got in trouble. Even her manager, the store manager, said she had to apologize. So I learned something, and I read it once upon a time in a book, which I can't name because I can't remember, about President Harry Truman. He went to an air show. And this is a lesson for people when you have bad interactions with people, to don't avert or avoid them. When I say in customer service world, and the reason why I say this is because of this story that I read this in my 20s and it was so impactful that I remembered it later on. Harry Truman went to an air show, and at this air show, you know, where they have the planes and everything else going like that, there was an accident that was one of the engineers, the mechanic's fault. And it was something that, like, I don't know if it lost life or whatever else, but what impressed me about it was when Harry Truman went to go meet the mechanic, it was some kind of error. Maybe it didn't lose, the loss of life wasn't a component of it, but he hired that mechanic. And they asked him, why would you hire a mechanic that was responsible for an engine failure? You know, something like that. He said, because when he observed the mechanic was going through and trying to figure out what he had done wrong. And when he saw that the mechanic didn't shift the blame, he didn't, go somewhere else or try to avert blame or anything else, depending on someone else or deny it. When he saw his accountability, and not only his accountability, him looking to fix the mistake, he said, I want that guy. You know why? And the mechanic asked him why. He said, because that guy will never make that mistake again. He's going to be more diligent, more vigilant about what he's doing. So I say that because even though I had a bad experience with this lady, today, all humble and sir. All humble, easy, in and out in a flash. So much that I went to the store manager who recognized me already. Because don't forget, it had just been a few days ago from the time of me recording this video in my real time. And I told her, I said, I just want to let you know, smooth sailings today. Not one problem. She was pleasant. Just as much as I will complain, I will congratulate when she's being civil. I said one of the most pleasurable experiences that I've had at this Acme, getting money that I have. Now I realize, and I'm not going to put down on her, but I realize that I'm collecting in that $200, probably more than her day's pay. And then I come back and collect $620, which is, again, probably her week's pay. So it's hard to see a middle-aged black man making money and trying to do well in this world when you're making bottom dollar. Now, I'm not crapping on a lady by any means, but sometimes people got to get out of their own way. I'm going to lead that into this next part because, again, I could avoid her. I could go to another Western Union, but again, I want her to humble herself before a person that is doing right, where she's got to curtail herself, her biases. She's got to check herself before she wrecks herself. And the manager, she knows that I am who I am. And when I come in, it was all greetings, all laughs and smile. And the lady saw me go over to the manager. But I wanted to let her know there's a power in being professional. There's a power in being not acting a fool and being on TikTok and showing out in front of everybody. There's a way to do it that let my business credentials speak for themselves. And I didn't have to pull up my YouTube channel. I didn't have to pull up anything I didn't have to show my license, my life insurance license. All I had to do was act in a manner withstanding my actual credentials. I had to let them know what I'm qualified for. And once I did that and let them know who I was, everybody fell in line. Once I did my homework and I knew, because when I took my test, I didn't get AI to help me. I actually studied for my life insurance test. I passed on my own knowledge. I didn't pass because I cheated. So when I have the knowledge can never be taken away from me. And when people try to test that knowledge out in front like this lady did, she'll be proven wrong because she took a training, but I actually had to pass the test. When you take a training, you don't have to pay attention. Believe me, one thing you know about nurses, most of the CEUs and the things we do, we just skip past it and try to figure out what the best answers. They don't give us continuing education to challenge us, to make sure we're knowledgeable. They make sure we can just get through to say we did the CEUs and things like that. There ain't a lot of people paying attention to them. Most of the time they half asleep and halfway paying attention. But enough about that. But you take a training, you don't have to pay attention. When you got to take a test, a state test to get certified, to get licensed, that means you got to really know what you're talking about, because when you make an error, when you misstate, there's liabilities like fines and things like that that are placed upon you. So you got to really know what you're talking about. When you get a license in something, you have to be careful what you say about speaking about something that's not true, because it could be held against you. That's the difference in a training and a license. When I'm a nurse, giving a person falling asleep on the job could end up in someone's life being, costed by that. So again, there's a bigger mistake that I make that I'm responsible for than the person that's a licensed technician, or, they got training and they don't have to be licensed in anything, when they don't have responsibilities that make them culpable or accountable to the things they do or neglect, or even things they missay. I won't even tell patients as a nurse when they're getting discharged, because again, they'll hold me to account even if the doctor said or didn't say or changes their mind. So again, I say that because when you have these interactions and you go to the manager, you go to the corporate office, and people really know that you put that paperwork on them, you're not going to argue and fight with them, because when you get ghetto, they're going to get ghetto, and all they're going to look at is you. No one's going to show you. The store's always going to defend their own. I don't care if it's a nursing staff arguing with a patient. Once the patient gets ornery, we defend our own. So everybody's going to defend their own because they work together. So you got to understand, when you're in businesses, you got to understand that they're already going to do a lot to protect the person unless the person is out there and wrong. Now, I didn't go that far to argue with the lady. All I did was prove my case to everyone else and stood on my ground. So when everyone else found out that, hey, no, this guy's serious, you can't accuse him of something like that. This guy's licensed. He has these credentials, that credential, this credential. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce here. They start saying, oh, he's throwing out some big, mainline Chamber of Commerce. Oh, he works at the hospital. Oh, he's a business owner. Oh, this, oh, that. They're starting to say, okay, this guy's serious now. This isn't like some guy just in sweatpants that came from the gym. Although she works out at the gym that I work. I just saw her from the gym earlier. So I'm saying that to say that you cannot get ghetto. You need to get professional. You need to take down some names, and you need to get that store manager involved, and you need to go to the corporate office, because if the store manager is just as ghetto as the person that's there, you go to the corporate office to get the suits coming down. And you can just let them know, can I get the corporate office number? And that works. Trust me. I went in there and spoke to the manager and said, hey, she was great today. And it lets her know that they can affect change and make customers happy. It is still the customer's always right. So I'm going to let you all know that that's how you deal with situations. And I'm going to keep breaking my bread, and I'm going to keep going in, and we're going to keep having good experiences with her, because if it's not, it's her job, not mine. Any which way, that's how you conduct yourself. That's how you conduct business. It's what my man Don Coombs always told me. Business acumen. How you conduct yourselves. Just because I am Phil Davis, not everybody perceives me as that. Some days I'm just a black guy in a sweatsuit, just trying to pick up money. So I'm going to get every bias that's there. And you got to understand that happens no matter what. And the bias wasn't always, I don't think it's racial, but it sometimes could just be biased in the fact of a person just has the attitude and want to give a person a hard time. And sometimes it could just be nothing at all, and they're just in their own world. I realize that. But at the same time, bad behavior must be corrected, not accepted or tolerated. And you got to do it in a way where a person, their own people, can reprimand them, not you. And that's what's going to make change. That'll change people's behavior. She wasn't loud. She wasn't stern or anything else like that. Very passive, low tone voice, very, very much submissive to the fact that she's respected me as a customer. And that's all I ever asked for, because I do business in there. I get money and I buy groceries from there. My family buys groceries from there. So again, if they want to keep business, they should do good business. And that's how business is to be conducted. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, ancestrylands.com. This is what I go through sometimes, man. After work, nursing, I'm in my nursing room. I got to pick up money, land money in the morning. I got to pick up money sometimes a couple days in the morning. So business is always moving, always happening around you, and you got to be prepared for it, folks. You got to be willing to do what you must in order to succeed. And sometimes people do not want to pay that price, and we'll talk about that in the next one. So if you like this video, stay tuned for the next one and follow me for more. Phil Davis, and I'm out. Peace.
Have you ever wondered how some individuals amass wealth through vacant land investments? Here's your answer. We introduce the perfect solution: getting dollars from dirt. A Beginner's Guide to Vacant Land Investments, written by author Philip Davis Jr. and also owner of Ancestry Lands. Uncover tried-and-true strategies and expert advice to navigate vacant land investments, even as a novice. This book simplifies the process, offering practical steps toward financial independence. Learn to spot lucrative opportunities and boost your returns. Getting dollars from dirt equips you with the confidence and knowledge for wise investment decisions. Seize this incredible opportunity. Get your copy now and embark on your journey to wealth. Click the link below to order. Start building your fortune today.